Hello dear learners, the fourth state of matter is a memoir or an essay by Joanne Beard. You can find here the picture of the narrator of this memoir, Joanne Beard. This essay or the memoir was published in the New Yorker in 1996. It is an autobiographical essay. It is an essay, at the same time it is personal, cosmic, because it brings in cosmic elements and also tragic elements in it. It is set against the backdrop of a mass shooting at the University of Iowa in USA. It was in 1991 that a mass shooting took place, mass killing took place in the university. See, this boy was a doctoral student at Iowa, Gang Lu. He killed many of the professors and colleagues at the university while he was studying there. And the narrator, Beard, she was working there in that um, journal. And it is her memoir that she shares through this essay. See, you can see the newspaper reports in 1991, people rushing with the injured, and he's the one behind it. You should remember how the action of these youngsters cause life, how it affect people, their mind, their life. See, now moving on to the main characters in this essay. It's a long essay, but you have to keep in mind the main characters. First one is Joanne Beer, who is the narrator. She is a she's an editor for Space Physics Journal. So there is science involved. And at home, she is a caregiver of her elderly Collie. Collie is a pet dog. It is elderly. It is dying, literally. It is aging, frail, it is weak dog, and it is a symbol of unconditional love, because the narrator always dotes on, always depends on Kohli whenever some problems come. Chris Gods, he is a space physicist and a very close friend of Anne, because it is in Chris that she finds comfort. Bob Smith is yet another space physicist, but not in very good terms with the narrator. Ganglo, as we have already seen, is a doctoral student whose action shapes the essay's tragic climax. And these are the other characters among whom you will find the husband. Husband is not in very good terms with the narrator, and he never appears in this essay. At the same time, you can find his presence over telephone calls. Now, about narrator's home life, when the essay, the autobiographical essay starts, you will find that the old Kohli, the dog, gets up in the early morning and he goes out to look at the stars, and she also look at the stars. The who Anne, she's taking care of her dog who is not very healthy, and the dog always needs attention. And it shows how narrator's own emotion and her physique, her body is not very fit. She's very tired, and the dog is a symbol of love, loyalty, and fragility. Fragile means weak. Her house is chaotic, it is all at mess. Why? Because she has a room on the top floor which was once occupied by her estranged husband. Husband is not in place now. It was he who used that room, now occupied by the squirrels. And this room is always chaotic, or it is a chaos for her. She doesn't like that room, and this symbolizes the disorder and loneliness she feels. It shows there is husband, but he's absent. There is his room, but it is not silent even though he is not present. There are squirrels always making noise and disturbing her. She even calls one person to get rid of this, to disinfect her room, but it didn't work. Now, about her work environment, she works as a managing editor of a space physics journal at University of Iowa. and her job involves working alongside brilliant physicists. That's why she's having the close friendship with Chris. He is he is a pillar of support, comfort, and stability. At the same time, with Bob Smith, who is another physicist, she is not having a very loving relationship. It is a complex and tense, at the same time humorous. Okay, don't think that the essay is very serious, it is full of humor. Now Ganglu, he is a doctoral student who is introduced as someone who feels disrespected and frustrated. He is not a very positive kind of person. From the very moment we meet him in the essay, you find that he is kind of disturbed and frustrated, and it shows the foreshadowing tragedy, the impending tragedy. വരാൻ പോകുന്ന ആ ട്രാജഡി കാണിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഗാംഗ്ലൂസ് appearance. And one day when she was sitting Anne was sitting in the room, she switches on the TV, and she finds, she listens to the news about mass shooting in Iowa University, and she finds that it is Gangulu who does it. He's the murderer, she comes to know, and she even suspects Chris. She suspects Chris' involvement, but later she comes to know that Chris and Bob and many others are being killed by or shot by whom Ganglu. Beard was not at work that day, and she finds herself out of the the trauma. I mean, out of the tragedy. She otherwise she would also have been a victim. She can't believe it because all her colleagues whom she met yesterday is dead now, and it shows how life turns such a strange twist in front of us. Now there is cosmic imagery and connection. Throughout the essay you will find Beard reflects on universe, because the title as it says a fourth state. You know, fourth state is apart from solid, liquid and gas, plasma is the fourth state. Okay, and it reflects on the universe, and it also references the stars, planets, even the moon of Jupiter is being talked about by her. These images shows the contrast between vastness of cosmos and the intimacy of human experience. See how sensitive we are with small issues on this world, on this earthly life, and how vast it is, the cosmos. There are infinite number of, or infinity is what the cosmos means. We don't know where it ends or where it begins, but at the same time we are being caught in a small circle of the earthly life. Plasma pause, it is a space physics term which describes a point of balance between the earth and sun's forces. It is a balance. It questions the balance, the stillness in Beard's life. She's trying to find equilibrium amidst chaos because she's chaotic. She's having problem at home, in her relationship with her husband. She is not very much glad at home, but at the same time she has Coley with her. At workplace, she's not in good terms with Bob, but at the same time she was having a friend called Chris. She's trying to find the equilibrium and balance in the life, as is the plasma pause. Now, Kohli is very important character because even in the ending, while the essay ends, you find narrator and the dog sharing a quiet, tender moment before dawn. And it shows resilience. See what all tragedies took place in her life. And you know, her husband is often found ringing up her on the phone, even at her workplace, and she's been disturbed always. At the same time, Chris is the one who tries to comfort her. At home, and the squirrels disturb, it is the dogs that support her. There are two other dogs as well. All right. Looking at the themes, there is love and loss reflected in the essay, because you can find deep emotional connection between Beard's Coley, I mean the Anne and her dog Coley, then her friendship with Chris, and also her lost sense of order and stability. The mass shooting shows how fragile life is, how transient life is. It also shows the theme of grief and chaos, because she is pulled between her personal and professional issues at workplace as well as at home. And what happens finally, tragedy is what shatters her whole world, because even at workplace she lost her close friends. Now, what about the cosmic perspective? The use of space and celestial imagery creates a sense of contrast between unchanging universe and the fleeting or changing human life. The I mean the space and the celestial elements, they remain the same. It is very vast, but human life is very, small, and it is fleeting. Resilience means പിടിച്ചു നിൽക്കുക. Despite her grief and challenge, she shows quiet endurance, continuing to care for her collie, and she faced each day. What about the structure and style of the essay? The essay combines personal reflection through a storytelling mode, and it switches between mundane, mundane means earthly life, and extraordinary events of shooting. This shows an emotional, a tug of war within the story. She also uses humor to balance the heaviness of the subject matter, because it is going to tell you a very serious and tragic story. So she includes what? She mixes it with humor. She describes squirrels, she says that she has uninvited guests on the um, top floor. She has invited dogs, the pets downstairs, but upstairs she has uninvited guests. And to talk about symbolism, Koli is a symbol of loyalty, unconditional love, and passage of time, because the dog is aging. It shows Beard's feeling of helplessness and exhaustion. She's tired. What is plasmopause? We have seen that it is a balance, as a stillness between the earth and the sun's force. It shows Beard's attempt to make sense of her grief. She is already in grief. Again, tragedy seeps in her life, but still she is trying to find an equilibrium. And the universe, the stars, planets, and celestial references remind readers of larger force at play, contrasting with narrate's intimate and personal struggles. On the one hand, she has her personal issues, on the other, the universe is very wide in front of us. So that's all. Thank you for your patient watching.